Shalom. Welcome to the Messianic Hour with Rabbi Scott Sekulow. The Messianic Hour is a program designed to give you insight into the Jewish roots of your faith. Rabbi Scott is also here to answer your questions and help you gain a deeper understanding of Bible prophecy. And now, here's your host, Rabbi Scott Sekulow.
Shalom, welcome to another edition of the Messianic Hour. I'm your host, Rabbi Scott. The show is dedicated to reaching the lost and educating the found. I'm here with my wife, Judy, as we bring to you each week the perspective of the Bible from a Jewish and Gentile point of view. And boy, we were off for the holidays, and Israel goes to war and already ended in 8 days. And so we're going to be talking about that on the show. Also, we're going to be looking at the Feast of Hanukkah and talking about our upcoming Israel trip. We're going there in June. Yes, it's safe to go. You can go into the land and enjoy it. So we'll be talking about that great trip. And Judy, we have a big announcement this week, so why don't you share with them? What are we now doing?
Could you please not put it that way? Because everybody jumps to conclusions, and that's the wrong conclusion.
Well, definitely not jumping to that conclusion.
Thank you. No, there's not going to be another Sekulow unless it's a four-legged kind, which we're not even going there. Yes.
But I wasn't thinking about that. There was another big announcement.
But when you say there's a big announcement, people naturally assume that.
Okay. Well, go ahead.
We'll work with you on that one, honey. We'll work with you. But no, Rabbi Scott is now tweeting.
That's right.
You're doing tweets on Twitter.
That's right. Not Twitter. It's a Twitter. I'm trying to learn that.
So if you want to follow Rabbi Scott, follow him. He is the @Rabbi_Scott.
That's right.
You can find him on Twitter. And I'm actually on Twitter also now, and mine is just my name, @Judy Sekulow. But follow Rabbi Scott, see what he has to say.
See what
and
you have
under
to say.
140 characters or less.
That's right. I can barely spell my name in 140 characters or less. But, it's a lot of fun. I've already put some out there, and we want to hear from you. So join us with that. It'll be a lot of fun. You can ask questions. You can get in touch with us right online, and we'll have a lot of fun tweeting on Twitter. I said it right. So
you are a little challenged.
I am a little challenged. My dyslexia comes in with that. So I used to sell tweeters, not Twitters. So
yes, we're talking about 140 characters, not stereo components.
That's right. But we have a lot's been going on, Judy, this week. I want to talk about what's going on in Israel. Obviously, they went in over 1,500 rockets. Almost all of them hit the correct target. About the same number were sent by Hamas. Most of them did not hit because of the Iron Dome, and only 6 Jewish people lost their life, which is 6 more than it needs to be. But we also saw that Israel has to protect itself. It's going to be interesting. They have the ceasefire, but what does that exactly mean? It's a ceasefire, but there was no agreement still set, and so we're going to see what happens with that as well. Also this week, the Palestinians are saying that they're going to be asking for a higher recognition in the UN. This can be complications in the future for upcoming situations, because when you have 2 UN countries that are going after each other in war, the UN can step in. So we're going to see how that's going to affect it as well. But when we get back, Judy, we're going to talk about the Feast of Hanukkah and how Jews and Gentiles can celebrate it, and how Yeshua celebrated it in the Scriptures. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Messianic Hour. We'll be right back.
We are the Joshua generation. Let's rise up and take a stand.
Welcome back to the Messianic Hour. I'm Judy Sekulow, and I'm glad that you're with us today as we are recording another radio show for you to listen and watch. You can watch us on Vimeo and YouTube. Go find the Messianic Hour on there, and you can follow us on Facebook. And now you can follow Rabbi Scott on Twitter. He's at Rabbi_Scott. But anyway, we're talking about the 8 days of Hanukkah. Hanukkah actually starts December 8th this year.
Right.
That will be the first night, runs through the 15th.
And everyone always asks, how do you spell Hanukkah?
However you want.
That's right. It's you can do it CHANUKAH or HANUKKAH. It's funny you
Or
take
you can have 2 Ks or 1 K.
K. Right. It's funny if you take the C off, you have with the C it's 1 K. Without the C it's 2 Ks. But it's one of those words that can be spelled many different ways.
Well, again, because Hebrew doesn't translate into English exactly.
That's right. And but we have a great time with it, and it is a interesting holiday because it's a man-made holiday. But we actually see Yeshua celebrating this feast in the book of John, chapter 9. It says, at the Feast of Dedication, Yeshua was walking in the courtyard of Solomon's temple. And that's interesting because, the Feast of Dedication is another name for the Festival of Lights, or Hanukkah. And the Solomon's courtyard, the area he's walking in, is from the first temple time period.
Well, and Hanukkah in Hebrew actually does mean dedication.
Right.
So that's hence calling it the Feast of Dedication.
And it's based on a story that we have about when the Maccabees retook Jerusalem and the temple on the 25th day of Kislev, and that they went to let the people know. And how do you let the people know you have the temple once again? You would light the menorah, because that light, unlike lights that are in your house that are windows that are used to bring the light into the house, the temple was made to send the light out so people would be able to see it miles and miles away. And they found oil for only enough for one day. It had to be holy, special oil. It takes 8 days to make it. They had to make a decision. Do we wait 8 days until we light it so that we can continually light it, or do we light it to let the people know that we've retaken the temple and they can come back? And the decision was to go ahead and light the menorah, even though it only lasts for 1 day. But what happened there? A miracle happens, and it lasts for 8 days, and that's why we have the Feast of Hanukkah, to remember the great miracle that God did. And so we celebrate with a 9-branch menorah.
Why 9?
Why 9? Well, the original one is 7, right?
A regular menorah.
The
is
one that's in
7,
the temple was a 7-branch menorah.
but
But the Hanukkah is a 9-branch, and one of the branches is always higher than the other. We celebrate it for 8 days, but you use the tall candle, the shamus, or the serving candle, to light all the other candles. And so that's why we have a 9-branch menorah. And we also see that represents our Messiah. He is the shamus, the servant. He came not to be served, but to serve, and he is the light of the world.
What I find really interesting about the holiday is we know that at the time there was a Syrian Greek regime over the land of Israel, and their primary goal was really to assimilate everyone into this Greek culture, take on Greek names, marry non-Jews, follow the Greek culture. That was really the whole push at the time, was assimilation into a different culture. Leave behind what you know, leave behind what you've been taught, and do this. And it's you really see that even kind of today. Everything out in the world is assimilate into the world, follow the ways of the world. And for those of us that are believers, and especially those of us that follow a Messianic expression of our faith, it really does feel like we're that light. And a lot of people tend to be drawn to us because of how we live out our faith, right, and all of that. So it really, this time of year, with the symbolisms with light and what the whole holiday means, I find it, very meaningful with that, we're trying to bring it back to what worship really was, how it really meant. Our whole thing is, reach the lost, educate the found. And to do that, you've got to take it back into the culture, take the words, the meaning, the sayings, the verses back into the culture into which they were first said.
Right.
And, we can't understand them in our mindset today until we really try to start peeling that away and get back to where it really meant.
Well, it's interesting, Judy, that there's 3 different stories about light in the renewed covenant. And he had his ministry for 3 years. So many people believe that he used the feast to talk about being a light unto the world, being that that light. You don't hide the light, you let it shine. And like you said, it brings out that understanding of what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to let our light shine, the light of our Messiah.
And one of the things that you do, delving into the practical aspects real quick, is every night in your home you light a Hanukkah menorah. And part of the holidays, really what they want you to do is to put it in like the front window of your house.
Right.
Put it where it's visible. So again, you've got that practical application of letting your light shine forth. And, I'm sure every pastor, everybody out there has ever done that, turn off all the lights and put on do a match and see that small flame and how it starts to illuminate everything.
Right.
But here, by putting your menorah, your Hanukkah menorah in your window and lighting it each night the light grows brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter, and it's shining forth out of your house.
And you mentioned each night what you do, the way in which you light a Hanukkah menorah is there's always one more candle lit than the day. So on the first day you light 2 candles, the shamas candle, and then the first one on the far right side, and then you go from far left side.
No,
you go
you're right.
Right
You place
side,
one candle
right.
at the far right as you
Go
as
in,
you
and then
face
you move
the menorah.
in towards the left.
Mm-hmm.
So the second day you would light a total of 3 candles, the shamas, and then 2, and then so on, so that the 8th day they're all lit, and it gives you a beautiful sign and symbol of what's going on. Now here's the thing: you can make your own menorah. You can go online and buy a menorah. We do at the congregation. We have a contest each year where people come and make their own menorahs.
We'll have to put those pictures on
Yes.
Facebook this year from our
and
annual Make Your Own Menorah contest.
Instagram, so we can put it on
Yes,
Twitter.
you can do that too. Yes.
So, but it's a great way of showing and sharing about the feast. And we also play a game called the dreidel. And that actually came out of the situation of what you were talking about. It was forbidden for the Jewish people to actually read the Torah, so they would get together, roll out the scroll, they'd be reading it, but when the soldiers came by, they would quickly put it up and act like they were playing a game.
It's like a dreidel's like a top.
Right. It's a 4-sided dreidel, and it has letters on each side. Each letter represents a Hebrew word which stands for a great miracle happened here.
But if you're outside of Israel,
it says a great miracle happened there. And what is done with that too is you either have to, it's basically a form of Jewish gambling. You either have to put in a piece of candy, you can take out a piece of candy, or you can take out half or the whole thing, or none at all. So you get you put in a piece. Take out a piece, put in a piece, take none at all.
take the whole pot
or all.
or the whole pot.
And so it's a lot of fun. You can play it with the kids. Again, you can pick those up. And the idea of giving gifts on Hanukkah is actually a more modern thing to deal with the situation by chance. It falls very close usually to Hanukkah, to Christmas. I mean, this year it's actually a little early. It's December 8th, so it's about 2 weeks before Christmas. But because of that, they would give gifts. But traditionally, you would eat food cooked in oil, representing the oil. So it's a lot of fun, a lot of very family-oriented things to do, and it's a great way of spending the family together. And it's cool because we get 8 days worth of presents, not just one. That's why they had to come up with the 12 days of Christmas to compete with Hanukkah. And if you want to learn more about it, why don't you tell them how they can go to our website?
They can go to the website at rabbiscott.com and look for the frequently asked questions or either Feast and Festivals.
Actually, it's Feast and Festivals.
I'm not
and
exactly
then
sure. I'm sorry. I
look-
apologize.
And they can click on Hanukkah, and we have scripture references there that they can check that out. But it's a great way. It's a great way to share with your family and friends, and you can cook donuts and potato latkes. I love potato latkes. They're my favorite. And it's a lot of fun. So if you want more information, go to rabbiscott.com. While you're there, sign up for our newsletter. Get the free gift. I have a friend who's Jewish. Do you? Excuse me. And the prophecy card. All free just for signing up. And have a great Hanukkah. When we come back, we're going to be talking about our upcoming Israel trip and the places you'll see. You're not going to want to miss it. Even if you can't go, you can experience the places that you'll see. But it's a great opportunity. We're going June 3rd through the 13th. Sign up at the website as well. We'll have more information right after this.